There's really nothing better than the combination of crisp, tart apples and sweet, gooey caramel. And as it turns out, making homemade caramel apples is actually super easy, even if you're not using corn syrup. Not using an invert sugar makes this recipe a little bit more technical with a few more potential pitfalls, but I promise you that if you follow the tips I've outlined in this video, you'll be set up for success. And if you're new here, I'm Maggie. This is No Frills Kitchen, where I teach you how to cook with confidence with nothing fancy required.
So start first by ensuring your apples are chilled. This isn't absolutely necessary, but it does aid in making this entire recipe a bit easier as it helps the caramel to set more quickly and it prevents them from sliding off after dipping. When you're ready to start cooking, remove the stems from the apples and spear them through the stem end with a lollipop stick, popsicle stick, skewer, or even a single chopstick. You want to ensure that your stick is about halfway down the apple in order for it to be secure. Now just measure out your sugar into your saucepan and then also measure out an equal amount by weight of cream. Return the cream to the fridge until you need it, and then set yourself up on the stovetop and make sure you put a dish of water and a pastry brush next to the stove. You will use this later. Now it's time to start dissolving the sugar. Pour over a bit of water and then set the pan over medium-low heat. And stirring constantly with a heat-proof spatula, dissolve the sugar before allowing the mixture to come to a boil. This step is made quicker and easier if you use caster sugar, which is also known as superfine sugar in some localities, but you can also use granulated sugar. Just note that it will take longer to dissolve, and you may need to be a bit more vigilant at preventing boiling before that. The most important thing you can do when making this recipe is to ensure that you get the sugar completely dissolved before the syrup comes to a simmer. Stir constantly and vigorously, and if you're worried that it's heating up too quickly, don't be afraid to take it off the heat periodically. Generally, this step should take about 5 minutes, but don't stress if it takes a bit longer. This is the most important part of this recipe, so it's imperative that the sugar be completely dissolved no matter how long it takes. And once you get the hang of this specific step, you can make pretty much any other candy without corn syrup. Why not give my peanut brittle recipe a go next, for instance? Once your sugar has dissolved, you can safely bring the mixture up to a boil. As soon as you see the mixture begin to simmer, cease stirring altogether. Also, use this time to brush down the sides of the pan with your pastry brush dipped in water. This gets rid of any sugar crystals that may have collected on the sides of the pan. Allow the mixture to bubble undisturbed until you notice it begins to change color. After about 10 to 15 minutes, it also could be sooner, so make sure you don't walk away for too long, you will see the sugar syrup take on a pale honey color. After this happens, you will very quickly notice the caramel getting darker. How dark you decide to let it go is really up to you. Just note that the darker the caramel, the more complex the flavor will be. It also can burn incredibly quickly, so make sure to be careful. As soon as you reach the desired color of your caramel, pour in your chilled cream and a good amount of salt. Be careful when pouring in the cream. It will sputter and foam up, so don't be alarmed. This is expected and completely normal. Once the cream is added, it's time just to stir constantly once again and continue to cook the caramel. This is where you're going to want to use either a candy thermometer or an instant read thermometer if you have one. While stirring, cook the caramel until it reaches 250F or 120C. This is known as the hardball stage in candy making. If you don't have a thermometer, you can add a small drop of caramel to a dish of ice water, and then if it hardens into a firm yet pliable ball, then you're ready to go. Once you've reached this temperature, remove the caramel from the heat and pour it into a heat-proof bowl. Allow the caramel to cool for a few minutes. You want the temperature to be at around 100C or 212F before it's ready for dipping the apples. When you're ready to dip your apples, grasp each apple by the stick and submerge it into the caramel, ensuring that it's evenly coated. Allow a little bit of the excess to drip off before setting it on some parchment paper. Now, all you have to do is let your apples cool completely before eating. And if you liked this recipe, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss my next videos. Enjoy!